Welcome back to Caught Lookin. We are officially kicking off season 2, episode 1, and it feels so good to be back. Thank you for indulging us during our break. I'm Meg, and joining me today are Sarah, Jenell, Mikayla, and Allie. We hope everyone had an amazing break and got some time to rest and reset. I know we missed talking about Guardians baseball, and we're so excited to be back and ready for a new year. We're excited for what's ahead and for another season doing this with all of you. Let's get into it. So there's a little bit, we've been taking a break for about the past 2 weeks, and there's a couple things, some guards news. All of the relievers, all of them, every single one. The bullpen feels very full right now. But quick rundown. We traded cash to the Blue Jays for Justin Brule. We DFA'd John Kenzie Noel, and then we DFA'd Justin Brule. Then we signed right fielder Stuart Fairchild to a minor league contract with spring training invite. We signed right-handed pitcher Sean Armstrong, who was previously with the Indians, correct? Is that the one who was previously with the Indians? Like we
Yeah, I
drafted
believe
him.
he started his
Yes.
career in Cleveland in 2015 and
Yeah.
spent, I think, 3 seasons with us.
Yeah.
And he was good with us.
All right, so we're bringing him back, and Carl's gonna be very excited to have him back, I'm sure. And then we signed another right-handed pitcher, Cody Hewer, who spent some time with Detroit and with the Rangers last year. He also got a minor league contract with a spring training invite. And then we also signed our old dear friend, the innings eater himself, Pedro Avila. Yay! I was so happy to hear he's coming back.
I love him.
Adore him. He seemed
We had
very
to-
excited too.
He was so reliable when we had him. I mean, he was just awesome. I think we're all
Like,
super happy to have him back.
Just a casual
Yes.
5 innings of relief every time. Great.
Just absolutely great to have him in the bullpen just as a solid option, knowing that he's going to come in, take his innings, and be solid.
Please let that be enough relief pitchers. Please,
Seriously.
let it end with Avila.
That's enough slices.
They have to, obviously, the Guardians are notorious for bringing back some sort of fan favorite every year. So I guess this year it is Pedro Avila. But please, God, no
Better
more
than
pitchers,
Carlos
man.
Santana. I mean, bless you, Santana. Love you. It was fun while it lasted, but so what's interesting about Avila, and this is something I had never really heard about, is he's on a split contract with us, which is kind of like a NBA two-way contract, it sounds like to me, where it's an up and down. So I'm reading this off of MLBTradeRumors.com. It's an article by Nick Deeds, Guardians to sign Pedro Avila. But he describes it as a potential avenue towards using Avila as an up and down player this year, despite his lack of options. So it kind of gives us that flexibility to bring him up and down as needed. It also makes him less attractive on the waiver wire if we do have to waive him for whatever reason, because of the way his contract is structured. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, he played, let me see, it was 15 appearances with the Yakult Swallows of Japan's Nippon Professional Baseball League last year. And, it looks like he did pretty decently. Generated a solid 43.9% ground ball rate, held opponents to an 8.7% walk rate, but he limited home runs and hard contact.
His ERA was just over 4 too. It was a 4.04 ERA in 82 innings with them. And when he was in the Guardians in 2024, in his 50 games with us, he had a 3.25 ERA. So it'd be great if we can get that version of him again.
He's back with Carl, so I'm sure we can.
Yeah. Also, the Japanese baseballs are slightly smaller than American baseballs. So
I didn't know that.
they are slightly, they're like slightly smaller and a little bit grippier, which is why like when Roki Sasaki came over, they were expecting him to have more, just the curve in his pitches. And it's usually difficult to switch over from the Japanese league. But so hopefully we won't see that with Avila, and he'll be delightful and back to our innings eater as
I
he
think
should
that's
be.
a really interesting point, and I wonder if it is different because he's pitched in the MLB before with
Yeah,
Major
that's what
League
I'm hoping.
Baseballs. Yeah, so he almost had to make the adjustment last year going the other way and now coming
That's
back
what
this
that's
year.
what I'm like hoping for, is that like his ERA went up because he had to make an adjustment, and he'll go back to like old faithful kind of thing.
That
Perfect.
definitely
You
Makes
said that
sense.
the balls in the Japanese league are smaller.
They are slightly smaller and they have like they're like a bit more tacky to them. So
I'm
you
thinking
see a
maybe
lot,
that'll help with like his velo or something.
yeah, You
I
see
don't
the
know.
spin rates in the Japanese league are way different than they are in the US, which is also why when you see Japanese players who are hitting insane home runs that we're seeing, that's why they still come over to the US and still dominate because they're used to hitting a much zippier ball, kind of.
Today I learned.
Watch him be like Anthony Ghost, where he's like DFA'd and then brought back
Oh,
7
no.
times. Hopefully not. That
Don't
sounds like
put
what
that
that
evil on
contract
him.
is.
I hope not. I hope whatever. I mean, obviously he agreed to the contract and is excited to be back. So it sounds like hopefully whatever they're cooking up over there is copacetic on both ends and that he'll stay with us at least the majority of the year.
He goes to the bakery by my house. Should we go find him?
Absolutely. The donut
Yes. Okay.
place?
Yeah. Well, not the one that don't not Bruce.
Not
He goes
Goldie's?
to yeah, no, Goldie's is just like around the corner for me. Like, let's go.
Perfect.
I'll just sit there and wait for him.
Absolutely. You know he's
Okay,
going to be
perfect.
back.
Yeah.
Ask him how he's doing. Get an exclusive Caught Lookin interview.
Oh my God, you're right. I'll do my best. We'll get him Caught Lookin shirts, have him decked out. Yeah.
Beautiful. I can't wait.
Imagine they do like the player walk-ins like the NBA does when they're walking into
Stop.
the game and he walks in wearing a Caught Lookin shirt.
Obsessed.
Dude, let's do it.
I would die.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
So in other non-Guardians news, I guess, it was announced that Logan Allen will be playing for Panama in the World Baseball Classic. His mom is apparently Panamanian. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Panama.
I love this time of year because you learn so many things about players you never knew.
Yeah,
I
right?
think
Who would have known
I think
that
he's the only
Panamanian and
MLB player who's eligible for Team Panama.
that's amazing. I'm super
that's-
excited. And also there was a note. Oh shoot, I have to find it now. Apparently there is a chance that if they play another team, Logan Allen. Sorry, I'm looking up the tweet right now because I can't remember. But someone made a here. Logan Allen has committed to play for Panama at the World Baseball Classic and will start against Canada or Cuba. The only starter in the MLB in 2025 of Panamanian heritage. A huge get for Panama. If he starts against Canada, we could see a Logan Allen v. Logan Allen pitching match.
I want that.
So is it
We can
our
have the Logan
other-
Allen Bowl.
Is it our other Logan Allen?
Has
I
to
didn't
be.
think he
There
was
can't be a
Canadian.
third one.
There
A
might
third Logan Allen.
another Logan Allen.
What's more feasible, that there's a third Logan Allen
No,
or
it
that the
is.
first
It
Logan
was our
Allen's
old
Canadian?
Logan Allen.
We should have known.
He is
There's
We're gonna
always
sign.
eligible for the Canadian team.
We're gonna sign the mystery third Logan Allen to our relief pitcher slots. Just add another one in there.
Yeah.
This is really funny because the article that I'm looking at, it says, oh shoot, I can't actually see it because it's like locked behind a paywall, but the title is Logan Allen, Canada's WBC Mystery Man.
Is he mysterious? I didn't know.
Apparently to Canada he is.
They don't have that many players. I mean, he was a major league pitcher. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. So I myself am rooting for a Logan Allen v. Logan Allen matchup now.
What about Cal Quantrill? Is he pitching for Canada?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he was, for some reason, the first one I thought of. So it'd be
I
funny
feel
if
like
the
he
two pitch
should.
against each other.
I don't
He
see
has before, I
any.
think.
I don't see anything popping up here. Oh no, that was from 2023. Just kidding.
We'll have to do an episode when all those rosters are finalized. We'll have to include that.
Yes,
a
we'll
future
have to double check and see all of our old Guardians friends. So yeah, good luck to LTA in Panama and in the WBC. We'll keep eyes on that and see if any of our other guys or any of our former Guardians friends will be playing. And then also something to keep an eye on this week. January 8th is the arbitration deadline. So that is when we're going to be hearing about all the guys who hopefully have signed arbitration deals for the upcoming year, namely Stephen Kwan, which hopefully won't be an arbitration deal, but an extension.
Yeah, whatever he wants. 15 years, whatever.
Exactly.
I'd be curious when the earliest news of an extension is for the Guardians, because I do think they normally haven't announced those until spring training, like late March.
I mean, they could agree on, an arbitration deal right now with him because I think they did that with Bidey. I think they
Did
avoided
they?
arbitration with him because he was still in arbitration during this time. And then they extended him right before the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and I think that's their typical timeline for
Yeah.
announcing extensions,
Yeah, I feel like normally we see the extensions pop up at the like during spring training, at the end of spring training, right before the season starts.
which
Or
it seems to me that if you're already negotiating for an arbitration deal, you might as well just do the rest of it at the same time. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's okay.
Yeah, maybe that's kind of how they go about that kind of stuff. I don't know, but either way, please speak it into existence. Stephen Kwan extension by Thursday.
Please.
all my fingers and toes are crossed, as I'm sure Mikayla is also.
Yeah. Please.
Michaela's running into random people on the street and like forcibly crossing all of their fingers for her.
Yeah.
We need all the goodwill we can get.
Don't ask
I
why,
just
just do it.
I just can't imagine. I don't know if it'll test my Guardians fandom if Stephen Kwan leaves. It genuinely would.
That would be very hard. I do agree. Like I love Quan and it feels like he's one of those guys that should be here.
Yeah, I want to see him retire as a Guardian.
Yeah.
That feels important to me.
Yeah, and I feel like we have the money to do it more so than maybe previous years, just because of like the money that we're saving with Jose's contract and the money that, hopefully we'll get back from the whole Class A thing.
I can't help but feel like there has to be something big they have planned, whether that be an extension or a big signing, because they're not paying a lot of players at all. So, like, maybe it's just Guardians delusion, which it very well could be, but I just feel like they have something cooking. Like, they have to pay somebody. I just
Oh, I
don't know
have
how it's
theories
gonna.
and notes, guys. Theories and notes.
So before we get into all of that, because I'll spoiler, that is going to be a lot of our discussion today. We're going to be talking about front office, ownership, spending, not spending, etc., etc. But first, before we get into that, I want to toss it over to Mikayla for Mikayla's Card Corner.
Thanks. So I just wanted to recap us on Topps Chrome Update. So for if you've been following along, so Topps Chrome Update is the product that has the rookie debut patches in them, and they are these massive chase cards. All but one of the Guardians debut patches have been pulled, which is insane. I think there are so few for how many rookies we had or debut patches we had. One, two, I think 11.
Good Lord.
We had 11 patches available, and so the only one who has not been pulled yet is Doug Nikhazy. So everyone else is pulled. I think John Kenzie was pulled on day one, like on the release day, which I just thought was crazy because I feel like there's so many. There's like 270 of them, and all but one of the Guardians. So if you're trying to pull the Guardians debut patches and breaks, maybe don't buy into breaks because your odds are even lower. But speaking of debut patches, I heard a rumor that Miles Straw has purchased Kyle Manzardo's debut patch.
I love that.
That's cute.
Yeah. So Miles Straw started collecting, so former Guardian, our outfielder who hates the Yankees, miss him. He started collecting like recently. He actually just bought like a Ohtani superfractor and an Aaron Judge superfractor. I should be a professional baseball player so I can afford cards like that. I think he's Straw's Vault on Instagram if you're interested. But yeah, so I just love when players collect players and stuff. And especially when they collect teammates, it's better. That's just awesome. So yeah, the fact that Miles is now the owner of Kyle Manzardo's debut patch is just so cool to me.
That's super cute.
Yeah, it's just so cute. There's so few players that collect like their teammates. DJ Hers for the Nationals, he's one of the relief pitchers. He collects Dylan Cruz, and I just think that's so cool. He's like, hey, I got you today. Like it came in the mail today, and he's just like pals with him. I just think that's so cute.
No, it's really cute. I'm looking at his Instagram page right now, and it's just fun. Like I hope they like take a picture and like text it to their buddies when they get their card. Got you.
Yeah. Well, so I traded Miles. I had a Sapphire, the purple, which I think are out of 10. I had a 2022 Sapphire out of 10, and I traded it with Miles for a Jose Ramirez auto. It was so cool. Well, he was like, "Yeah, I'll trade you," and because I was just gonna give it to him. And he's like, "No, no, we're trading." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Here's a Hosey auto," and I was like, "Okay, you don't have to fight me on that." So that's cool. I mean, I love when players collect, so and I'm glad that he's getting into it. And it's cool to follow him more now, like as a card collector for me, at least, rather than just following him as like a former Guardian. I enjoy it a lot more. The other big thing coming up is Bowman Chrome Draft. So 2025 Bowman Chrome Draft is scheduled for release on January 14th. There are 3 big Bowman releases each year, and this is the final one. So for those of you who don't know, Bowman is meant to be a product that focuses on our prospects. These are usually the players' first cards in their professional jersey. You'll hear the term Bowman first floating around. Some older players won't have like Jose doesn't have a Bowman first, but all of like our more recent players will have Bowman firsts. But I want to point out that there are 3 Bowman releases because even though this next product coming out is the Bowman Draft, not every player from the 2025 draft actually has a card. So Topps does this just to ensure that there are demand for their other products, since there's 3 of them, where they have their big chase cards or like in multiple different products. Of the 30 players selected in the first round, there are only 7 of them not in Bowman Draft. That's actually a pretty low number, but of course, Jace Violet is not in the product. He was our 27th pick in the first round. He's not in this product, so if anyone's buying, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, "Oh, I'm buying into Cleveland so much because the break spots are cheap," and they're cheap because our first round pick is not in it. So I just be weary of that. He will be probably just in 2026 Bowman instead. However, Dean Curley, who was our second round pick number 64, is in the product. And I think he's a great prospect for us to have. He's like a shortstop from Tennessee. Last year he hit 315 in college. It hit 315 with 14 home runs, had 8 stolen bases, and a 16% strikeout rate. And there's like tons of people who their whole lives are just dedicated to Bowman Draft and Bowman Chrome. They're just like professional prospectors. So there's this one gentleman named Bob who runs Bob's Cards, Big Bob's Cards. And every year he releases, or multiple times a year, he releases these hitters must grab players lists, and they are insane. The amount of time and energy and effort that this man puts into just dialing into stats of players and prospecting is insane. But he has Dean Curley on his next best list, which usually is like a really great investment for the price. If you're ever interested in prospecting in Bowman, I would highly recommend following Bob on his Substack. It's Big Bob's Cards. Fantastic. But yeah, so he's just I think he's a good player. So even though we don't have Jace Violet, we do have Dean Curley in the product. I probably won't be chasing. I'm not a big prospector, so I probably won't be chasing any of them. But if you pull anything cool, please hit me up. I'd love to hear it.
Every time you say prospector, all I can think of is the old prospector from Toy Story.
Why can't I think of what that
It's like Toy
is?
Story 2,
It's
Toy
Toy
Story
Story
3.
2.
It's when the collector, they Woody gets taken by the collector and he's collecting all of the Woody toys from his old TV show. And he's like an old-timey prospector. Anyways.
Oh my God. Oh no, I got you.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
you've seen Toy Story 2, Mikayla,
I've
right?
seen Toy Story 2. I was born in the 90s. It's like a law.
Okay, good, because otherwise we would have had a private conversation after the show.
He's
Thank
Stinky
God.
Pete. That's what
There
his
it
name
is. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I was
Stinky
drawn.
Pete.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, just imagine Stinky Pete picking out
Perfect.
prospects for
Big
baseball.
Bob's prospecting.
Big Bob
Oh,
is
sorry.
it's so
I'm
impressive
sure
what
he
does.
is.
I know. I don't no disrespect to Big Bob. He's incredible. And
Tired.
he literally it's just like pages and pages. His Substack, you do have to pay for a Substack, but if anyone's interested, I pay for it, so I can always get you some deets if you want some. But something that I love about the hobby is like how passionate people are about weird niche things, and this is one of them. So it's always makes me a little bit. I don't even care about prospecting. I'm like I won't buy any of these, but I do love reading his stuff because I just love seeing people like have these passion projects and put so much energy into something they love.
No, that is super cool. Yeah. So anyone who is excited about that should be a good time. I'm thinking of also like I'm getting an itch to like rip some packs. I've never ripped a pack, And I'm sitting here like, oh, maybe I should just go. There's a card shop down the road from me, not very far. So I'm thinking of going there and in
25 Bowman
Virginia. In
Blasters.
Virginia.
Get some 25 Bowman Blasters. Those are the
Okay.
best. I think those are the best bang for your buck product that have ever existed.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it and I'll rip it and I'll let you know if I get anything.
Cool. Cool.
Exciting.
My goal for 2026 is to rip less. I feel like that's my goal. I'm gonna try to rip less, buy more singles. I say this every year, and every year nothing changes. Like I start off really well in January, and then like March hits, and I'm like, oh well, I'm just gonna go buy like 7 hobby boxes, and then just back at it, my old ways. It's
I mean, isn't
fine.
that how all New Year's resolutions go, honestly?
Yeah, well, my New Year's resolution really is just to drink more water, and honestly, not
That's
doing great.
I was gonna say that.
I'm not even doing
New
great
Year's
at that.
resolutions start on Monday, on the Monday. New
Yes.
Year's.
Oh, I
Oh,
like
That's
yeah.
a good
that.
point.
It was definitely my New Year's resolution started yesterday. I'm like, I'm not doing it on January 1. Absolutely not. That is a Thursday. That is the beginning of my weekend. No, that is not when New Year's resolutions start. I hope everyone else's New Year's resolutions are going better
I really
than all
don't
of
even
ours.
like I don't even have any like actual resolutions this year. It's just like a bunch of stuff that I know I need to start doing that I've put off for too long, but I haven't made them actual resolutions, if that makes sense. I don't know.
You also could just make goals. I made a bunch of hobby goals, which was fun and weird. You have a book goal.
Yeah,
I
I just
saw
have to
that.
say. Okay, yeah, if that counts as New Year's resolution. Yeah,
I'm
50
counting
books.
it.
I read
I think that's a good
51
one.
this past year, so
There you go.
that's
Heck
something.
yeah.
I just have to write everything down, and that's when I can never find the time to. Maybe resolution number 1 will be to stop procrastinating.
There you go. You got there.
Let's start there.
So before we dive into our discussion, I do want to say really quickly, big thank you to Sarah for tackling this, but we are now on YouTube. That is super exciting. So we are at Caught Lookin Clee, just like all of our other social handles. Sarah has back
Shout out Sarah.
uploaded. I don't know, have you gotten all the episodes up yet?
Yes, all 15 episodes from
Awesome.
season 1 are up, so people can listen if they don't have Spotify or Apple. We will be putting all of our season 2 episodes up on there. So, yeah, like and subscribe, and it was pretty fun to do. So I'm glad we're finally on YouTube.
Yes, and the cards are it's still audio only, but Sarah did make some really cute little cards based off of all of our titles. So
I had a
big
field day with
shout
those.
out.
Those were
You,
so much fun.
they're
Oh my
so
gosh.
cute. You did a
I
great
was having
job.
a blast. So please appreciate them.
Drop some comments, give us a listen. So, moving on, like I said, we are going to be discussing, we're going to have a talk about the front office, the ownership, and spending, not spending, and just have a chat about that and see where it goes. But I know specifically, I know Sarah and Allie, they took pictures of their notes and sent it to us. So I'm going to
Allie
toss it
did.
over to you
I
guys.
kept mine secret.
Oh,
Y'all don't know what I'm gonna be pulling
Sarah's
out.
gonna hit us with surprises, unexpected takes. I have been kind of a silent front office defender for a long time, and I think some of our discussions in the past couple of days have just forced me to organize my thoughts a little bit, which is where the notes come in. But specifically, there is the podcast that Jose Ramirez did back in spring of 24, where essentially he's saying he signed this contract under the impression that the front office would build a team around him to compete and win. That didn't really happen. And that he would approach negotiations differently in the future if he knew that this is how it would pan out. And I don't disagree with what he said, and we'll get into all of it, but I do think the clip of him saying that goes viral every few months just for fans to have a reason to say, look, this front office has done nothing. There's no direction. We're wasting his career, etc. And I don't really see it that way. It could end up this way, right? We still have not done a whole lot. I mean, we're competitive every year. We've won the division a lot. We've made some playoff runs, and I think that's really cool given what our payroll is. There is still a chance that their plan fails. So I'm not going to just sit here and like lay down on the tracks for this front office completely, but I do think I understand where they're coming from and what they're trying to do. And I probably could go on about this for 10 or 15 minutes. So feel free to stop and interrupt and argue or disagree with anything that I say at any point. But walk with me for a second, okay? I think there are three main events that have shaped the last decade of Cleveland baseball. The first, and I'm saying it's first because I think that the talks started happening before the Jose extension, but the first event would be the Guardians looking for a minority owner and agreeing to a deal with David Blitzer. The second would be Jose Ramirez's contract extension. And the third would be securing the number one overall pick that eventually became Travis Bazzana. And I want to start with the deal with David Blitzer that was agreed to in June of 2022, but they began talking to him in 2021. So I would assume that the terms of that deal were kind of at least in place or being discussed before the Jose extension was signed. So the Guardians began looking for a minority owner in 2019 when John Sherman left to take ownership of the Royals. They began talking with David Blitzer in 2021, and they finalized a deal in June of 2022 in which Blitzer would take 25% ownership of the team with the option of becoming the majority owner in 6 years, which would be 2028. And sidebar, when people say that the Dolans are cheap and need to sell the team, that really grinds my gears because they're working on it. Okay, keep up. Okay, so the Dolans have agreed to potentially sell the team in 6 years. We can presume that that would mean for the next 6 years, they will be putting as little money into this team so that they can maximize the money that they get out of it, right? Put little money in, make as much money as you can when you sell it. And just milk it for what it's worth, get every last dollar you can, minimal investment, right? So everything the front office does is going to be under this cloud of we have to cut payroll. Like this ownership is not really invested in this team anymore. They're just going to lower the value and sell it and make what they can, right? So that is clouding everything they do. However, at the same time, Jose Ramirez forces his way into a 7-year extension, making him a Guardian through 2028. That happens in, I believe, March of 2022. It was for sure 2022, I think March. A lot of really good things happen that season, coincidentally the same season that the team is sold. Stephen Kwan makes his debut and he's really good. A lot of other rookies make their debuts and they're really good. Josh Naylor comes back from an injury. Andres Jimenez has his breakout year. Shane Bieber and Tristan McKenzie are leading our pitching staff, and we end up being a surprise, really good team in 2022. So I think the combination of all of those good things happening and that Jose Ramirez extension convinced this front office, okay, we're going to be poor and we're not going to pay anyone, but we can still win. And we owe it to Jose Ramirez to still try and win. So they follow that up by signing Josh Bell, signing Mike Zunino, extending Jimenez, extending Trevor Stephan, and kind of doing a little bit of investing within their means to be a competitive team in 2023. 2023 doesn't really go the way they think it will. We remember that. The Josh Bell situation doesn't really work out. Mike Zunino doesn't really work out. Kind of a disappointing season. So they're still committed to winning. They're still committed to that core. But we start to lean really heavily into analytics, matchups, the numbers game. You know you need every advantage to win, that just banking on Jose Ramirez and whatever free agent you can sign is not going to be good enough. They need a new manager, Stephen Vogt. He is going to play heavily into this philosophy that the front office needs. And I love Tito. I love Tito a lot. I don't necessarily think he was heading that same direction. Anyway, that's just a little bit of a sidebar. That is how they respond to 2023's failure. However, December 2023, they secure the number one overall pick. And they don't know it at the time, but eventually that pick becomes Travis Bazzana, who is a second baseman. Presumably you're going to keep him as a second baseman because he's the number one overall pick. You're probably not going to change his position. At that same time, you have Jimenez maybe having a down year, not looking as good as you thought he would after you signed him to that extension. You have Josh Naylor not always having the second half productivity that you would want. And you also have Shane Bieber getting hurt and Tristan McKenzie getting hurt. And so a lot of the things that you were excited about to build on with this core, which I really think they did. I think they believed in Kwan, Jose, Naylor, Jimenez. I think they believed in that core. But from December to the summer of 2024, you have Bazzana enter your system. You have Chase DeLauter looking, though not healthy, as good as you would hope that a top prospect would. And you are now presented with the opportunity that instead of putting all of your eggs in this current core's basket with Quan, Jose, Naylor, Jimenez, you now have this opportunity to instead build around Travis Bazana, Chase DeLauder. Stephen Quan is still in the mix. You still have Jose Ramirez. You still have Kyle Manzardo. And so I think the front office kind of used that 2024 season as an evaluation period, and even 2025 a little bit of an evaluation period of some guys to say, are these our guys right here? Do we believe in this current core of Stephen Kwan, Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, Kyle Manzardo, Andres Jimenez? Do we believe in these guys to go all the way? Or are we better off moving on from that core and instead investing in Travis Bazana, Chase DeLauder? And I think that's what they did. I think they made a firm, hard decision at the end of 2024. We believe there is more potential with this younger core of guys, so we are going to pivot from this current core and move forward with these younger guys. Also knowing that a lot of the primes of these guys and the years where you're going to have to start reevaluating what you do, the Jose extension is up in 2028. A lot of these guys are going to start wanting to get paid around 2028. That is right around the time that David Blitzer would take over the team. And hopefully, you might not have a huge influx of money, but you're not actively slashing payroll the way that the Dolans are. And so I think the front office has just decided that they like their bets better. I think Chris Antonetti has bet on himself in this core that he has built a little bit more than he did 4 or 5 years ago. And that's not to say that I didn't like those players, but you just can never predict that you're going to get a number one overall pick and be presented with this opportunity. So that's my very long winded way of saying I don't think that they didn't build around Jose Ramirez. I think they built a team that they believed in, but then were immediately presented with this surprise opportunity to build an even better team that coincides with an influx of cash. And they bet on that situation being the better one. And we are just in the middle period where that has not panned out yet. And it looks really bad because we blew up that old core. And we are in the middle of building a new one that could end up being very good and not with the Dolan's payroll. I think that's the end. Thoughts?
Ditto.
I think you made excellent points there, Allie. And like coming into this, like I was gonna take more of like the devil's advocate side because obviously I've been a known like anti-Dolan person online, whatever. But I think like the biggest point you made was that if Dolan's on his way out being the majority owner, then why would he invest more money than necessary? I think that's kind of like the $1 million question right there. And I think every other argument people can make is kind of like rendered moot by that point. Cause it's like, yeah, it's a business at the end of the day. And so if he knows that he's on his way out, then he's not going to invest all of that money into it. So that kind of like makes you rethink a lot of
Jose
my
Ramirez
opinion on it too.
handed him a golden ticket because he is putting the absolute bare minimum into this team. And it is still insanely, I'm assuming, profitable because we make the playoffs every year and we have a perennial superstar. So the Jose statue should be going up outside of Progressive Field, but it should also be going up in the Dolan's front yard because they're doing the least and getting way more out of it than they ever could have thought. And I just don't think I don't think we all realize how lucky like I really think that the front office was committed to a full 5 or 6 year rebuild that Jose Ramirez said, no, you're not.
It's so interesting. Like I have so many thoughts. I'm trying to like organize everything.
Right.
But I think like my biggest thing is that if they committed to this younger core after they kind of scrapped the Jose Jimenez Naylor core, obviously Jose is not showing any signs of slowing down whatsoever, but he's also not getting any younger. So is this, I guess, a suitable amount of time to build this core before Jose starts regressing? Which, I mean, like I said, he hasn't shown any signs of it, so there's literally no telling when that's going to happen. It probably won't be for a very, very long time, but can they realistically, I guess, establish that core when Jose is still playing like prime Jose? Would just be my biggest concern, I guess.
Well, and I think the fact that there might not be baseball at all in 2027 throws a huge wrench in this plan. Like that's a pretty big what if. But I
That
mean,
is
we
true too.
only have Jose until 20 through 2028. So I think this
Blitzer
upcoming
take control
season
of the
is
team. Sorry, does
same
Blitzer
year.
take the at the beginning of 28?
Ooh, good question. I don't know that specifically. And I honestly, 2028 was my math. Like someone can come in and
Yeah,
correct that, but it was in 2022, he would take over in 6 years. So
yeah.
I don't know if that means from the date of the sale, which was in June, or if that is, I would have to look up the
One would
specifics of that.
assume that it's like the beginning of the year. It's like January
Yeah.
1, but also,
And I don't
yeah,
know if that would
he,
then make it 2028 season or 2029 season. So
yeah, yeah. There,
interesting
I
things
mean,
to look
as
at.
as we have learned, and as we know, the front office and the ownership is very, very tight-lipped about a lot of this stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, we didn't even realize that they never announced that Vote had signed an extension.
Mhm.
So
Which, and I said this in the group chat, I think also, but I do think they really used 2025 as like a rebuild slash evaluation year. And I think they're expecting to compete in 2026, which is why I think we were willing to pay some guys to rehab last year and why we're not willing to pay guys to rehab this year because we are paying guys who are going to help us win now.
that is
Um,
definitely a really good point because I did see a lot of people very upset that Nick Enright was he DFA'd? Was he traded? Was he I can't remember the exact, but he's with the Blue Jays now. I do know that. The
I
Guardians
think
of
he
the
was
that's who
North.
I thought.
DFA'd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's going to be rehabbing the entire season next year. So yeah, that is definitely a really good point. There's a whole contingent and I was one of them that was upset that Enright was not brought back on since we again, like you said, we had a half a roster on the IL last year and we were just paying all sorts of guys to rehab for like a solid year, 2 years.
And I think we were willing to do that to see if they could be a part of this moving forward. And they weren't, which is unfortunate. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have a hot
so
take.
yeah,
My hot
drop
take
it.
is that I think I really agree with the rebuild that we're currently doing with Bazana. That
I think I
I
agree.
Oh, okay. So, okay, I'm gonna upset people. I know this. I was not a Josh Naylor fan. I'm so sorry. When he was traded, I was not disappointed. I wish him the best and I want him to win a World Series with the Mariners, and I'm glad he's having so much success. I was not a fan of him on our team, and I am so sorry to everyone. I mean, I was devastated about Andres Jimenez just because he's so like cute and fun to and easy to root for, but also I feel like I want to win a World Series, and we just can't have somebody hitting, below the Mendoza line, like in our lineup at this point. And I feel bad about that. So like when I saw and so I agree with you, like getting Bazana, I think that like did change the game. And I think I feel I will personally feel a lot better moving forward with like rebuilding into this next season, seeing what they do with Stephen Kwan. I don't think you can possibly do it like an entire rebuild while getting rid of your core from like the 2022 and 23 season without at least committing to some sort of veteran on the team who isn't Jose Ramirez.
I think what you said about Josh Naylor was a bold and dangerous take, but
I know.
I'm
I'm so
with you.
sorry.
I'm with you. No, I loved watching him play and I'm so happy for him, but I don't think the success he had in Seattle would have happened here.
No.
And I think the front
Yeah.
office knew that and I think he needed that chip on his shoulder to become the player that he was. I think this is the best case scenario for everyone involved. It sucked this year because we could have used that production. And it's hard to see him contribute to a team that did fairly well in the playoffs, thinking we could have had that, but we never did. I mean, we had multiple playoffs with him on the roster, and we didn't get that production. And I think he just kind of needed that fire lit under him.
I think the
So
Josh Naylor trade was absolutely necessary, and I did love him. I loved having him on the team. So yeah, I was sad about the trade, but I think it made total sense because you had Kyle Manzardo coming up, and there was just no way that I think Naylor and Manzardo could kind of like coexist in the same lineup, especially in terms of like a DH spot too, because you can't have Naylor DHing every day, you can't have Manzardo DHing every day. So it was kind of just too much of a it would be too much of a mess to have both of them on there, I think. And I did think they took a massive risk in trading him for Slade Cecconi because we didn't really know much about him. I looked at
But
his
Slade's got
numbers and
that
I'm
dog
like,
in him,
oh
so
no,
that
he
was a good
does, but like
trade.
We
it
learned
was
that this year.
it proved to be a good
Yeah.
trade. Yeah, but at the time I was like, they're taking a huge risk because this guy's numbers were not the best. I was like, we're trading Josh Naylor for him, but hey, Carl
Well,
Willis fixed him, so
Carl Willis, whatever he saw, I trust.
yeah.
Whatever
so
Carl
so
Willis
it
says,
did
I'm
pay off
yes.
in the long run, and so I am satisfied with that trade for
And
sure.
Sarah, I'm gonna disagree with you, but agree with you at the same time. I think there was a point in time that the team probably thought Naylor and Manzardo could have coexisted with each other because, and I tweeted this the other day while I was looking into all this. I think they acquired Manzardo to replace Josh Bell because that happened right around the same deadline. And at the time, the two of them, they were on the same team. They lost Bell, they replaced him with Manzardo. I think when they said, oh crap, we're going to have to really lock into analytics and we're going to need that DH spot to really dive into platoons and matchups, that's when they were like, all right, one of these guys can't DH the whole time. And at that point in time, we had seen what we were going to see from Josh Naylor and weren't probably willing to pay him what he thought he deserved. So I do think at the time of the trade, maybe they could have coexisted, but some of that philosophical shift in how we were going to run 2024's team maybe was part of the reason that that trade happened. And while I have the mic, I just want to say that blowing up the team and trading Jimenez and trading Naylor, I 100% understand why Jose Ramirez made the comments that he made. Like, they did blow up the team that had friends on it. Like, guys that were important to this team, they did blow that up. And at the time that it happened, I think Jose Ramirez had every right to say that and every right to feel how he felt. But I just don't think that they were doing that to be cheap or directionless. I think they had a reason to do what they did. And I think hopefully we get to see that pan out over the next couple months.
I would be interested to hear Jose's opinions and thoughts now about how the team is looking, how he feels about everything, and if
Well, and I want to know how transparent they were with him when they signed the deal. Like, the front
yeah,
office had to know when they agreed to that extension, like, we are going to have no money. And they didn't know at that time that Stephen Kwan was going to be like rookie of the year candidate Stephen Kwan. So much happened in 2022 that was just pure, I want to say pure luck. I know a lot of scouting went into it, a lot of player effort went into it, but there is no way when you agreed to that extension and to sell the team that you thought all of this could go the way that it did.
Yeah, there's no telling what they told him, what promises were made. Unfortunately, we'll never know, but it does make you wonder though.
I do agree with Mikayla that they need to extend Stephen Kwan, and people on the internet seem to think that I am crazy when I hope for it, but I'm still hoping for it.
How
well,
could you
they
be
don't know if
crazy to
it's
hope for a Stephen Kwan extension though? Like
They
that's a
extend
player you
somebody
want
every
long
year.
term,
Like,
man.
they've handed out an extension to someone every March for the last 3 or 4 years. So,
Exactly, and all the extensions they've granted have not worked out. And so you have Stephen Kwan on a silver platter right here. So just why are they dragging their feet with it is my question. Like,
well, and I think they're expecting, like, Jimenez's contract was so backloaded towards the later years. Like, and now you don't have that on the books. So just whatever dollar amount you were going to throw at Andres Jimenez, combine Clase, just throw all that money into one contract and hand it to Stephen Kwan, and
I
hope
wonder if
that
they're still
Daddy Blitzer
waiting
gives us
on
money in a few years.
I wonder if they're still waiting on the official like okay from MLB about Class A, and or I mean obviously Ortiz's money was pennies when it comes down to it.
Well, the
But
clock
like
is tick-tocking because arbitration is 4 days away, so we
yeah,
need to know.
I mean we'll know in 4 days. I don't think we're gonna hear anything prior to that.
I think I really do think so. The way that Stephen Kwan talks about Jose Ramirez, I think is very important for the way that the team is built and the way that I see the team moving in the future. I don't know if you've ever listened to any of his post-game interviews, he just talks about the fact that like he feels so blessed and so lucky that he gets to play with Jose Ramirez every day. And that Jose Ramirez is always the hardest worker in the room, and so he's just trying to be like Jose Ramirez. And I think out of respect for Jose, I think it would be, I think it's like vital for us to extend him for that reason, especially after the comments he made. I think it's one of those things of where you have to recognize not necessarily the skill at Bay, but also like the culture that these people have together. And I think that Steven and Jose really do build off of each other. I mean, if Jose doesn't get the ball like Quan's his backup. Like that's how it works. And I think they do have a really nice chemistry that people don't really talk about a lot but I think that's something that the ownership should lean into. And I'm not saying this just because like I'm a Stephen Kwan super fan. I'm saying this because I genuinely believe Jose Ramirez is one of the greatest baseball players that I will ever
Oh,
watch in
absolutely.
my lifetime. And I want him to not walk away from the team that I love, feeling like he was ripped off in some way. And I feel like if you can somehow not like placate, but like, just lean into the fact that like, hey, we know that you guys have a great rapport and this respect builds so much of a positive culture in our team. I think that's super important and they should lean into it.
I agree. And I think, I have said it now for the third time on this episode. I think we were headed towards a complete rebuild until Jose forced that extension. But the other important thing to note is that Stephen Kwan was with him every step of the way. Like everything good that has happened, you can credit to Jose Ramirez being the heart and soul of this team, but Stephen Kwan has been consistently there with him. I think he's maybe just as important. And so, yeah, I think it would be great for team morale. I think it would be great for Jose's heart and soul and for the fans' heart and soul. And after you had kind of like a PR nightmare of an off season last year, like do one good thing for us, please. Give me more Stephen Kwan.
Can Allie and I be in charge of the team?
I wish,
Yeah.
man.
Just like
all of our money to Stephen Kwan.
Perfect.
Stephen Kwan and reinstate Guards Fest. That's
Yes. Oh my God.
Can we talk about how Cade Smith's dad Smith, is like liking all these tweets about Guards Fest and fans meeting players and stuff like that? I think it's
Dad
so
Smith
wholesome.
is with us on this. He wants Guards Fest back.
We all want Guards Fest back.
Truly, truly.
For
I
sure.
don't. I mean, again, and I think that's another. So was it last year they announced that they weren't doing Guards Fest? Or was it
They're
2
doing
years ago
it's
now?
every 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So basically it would be the Dolans had to pay for it like one more time.
Yeah. So
Is how it worked
basically, so
out.
I think that's also another like the Dolans are saving all of their money right now. Like they're investing the bare minimum of their capital into this team and trying to maximize their profit in order so that when they get out, they're basically like they can clean their hands and be like, we've got the money that we want at this point, which is such a bummer to think about this way, that all they care about is getting the max amount of money possible out of this team before they leave.
But they are trying to sell it, and that is so nice of them to do.
I do agree. Yes. Please do not stop the sale.
We're just gonna plug Madeline real quick because I do believe that she has
Yes.
an article coming out about David Blitzer and what we can expect from him as an owner on Covering the Corner. And I think that is so aptly timed because we're talking about him now. I can't wait to read it.
It's a bummer she wasn't able to be on this episode because I would have
Mhm.
loved to hear her thoughts and opinions. But yes, Covering the Corner, it's launching on Monday the 5th. So same day this episode drops. Go check it out.
I know in the group chat you had made a comment about broke owners like not necessarily being the worst owners. And I think that's an important point because I mean, we have another owner in town that has ruined every franchise he owns. So the Dolans are broke, but at least they're not actively destroying this team. Shout out.
Yeah,
It is
I don't know if you had more you
thank you
wanted to
for the
say.
assist for that.
It
Allie,
is
but-
such a weird dichotomy. Sorry. I'm just the idea that like the Dolans are cheap, but they're running a very good team. The Haslams are not cheap and they are running this beloved franchise into the ground.
Should we open every season of this podcast by titling it Dan Gilbert is my favorite?
I was just gonna say Dan Gilbert is still my favorite billionaire.
Dan Gilbert remains our favorite billionaires.
Anyway.
Can you just like oh my god, wait, is him and Blitzer winning on the Full Sail? I'm just saying. Spare no expense.
I'd be curious. So the only thing I do know is that Blitzer does own the 76ers. Is there a conflict of interest there if he goes into a deal with another NBA team's owner?
He
That's
does.
Truly, I have no idea how any
He
of that
also
works.
owns an
Hockey?
NHL team. Where was it? He's the first to own team equity in 5 major sports leagues in the US: NBA, NHL, NFL, MLS, MLB. Where is it? The Sixers.
I don't know what the
as you
ownership
said.
rules are like in the NBA, but I have to believe that you probably can't own a stake in more than one team because that probably opens up a lot of tampering opportunity and conflicts of interest. So
Which I guess
it could be allowed. I
theoretically
don't
he
know, but
wouldn't. It's just that he would. The original
Be-
comment, am I crazy? I don't even, I'm lost now, but I think we were talking about Dan Gilbert investing in the Guardians.
Yes.
So then
Correct,
he would
yes.
share ownership
Please.
of the Guardians with a direct competitor in his other league. Which,
Correct, which I
whatever.
think is fine.
Okay.
They're millionaires. I don't
yes,
care.
I mean they're in
Do they
different
even know?
they're in different leagues, so it's not like yeah, I feel like there probably wouldn't be anything wrong with that, but then again, I have no idea how that stuff works. But no, going back to the whole cheap owner versus that I'll just say the Haslams, the Dolans versus the Haslams. It just got me thinking mainly about the question, does being a cheap owner necessarily make you a bad owner? And I think the logical answer is no, because despite the Dolans never spending money, which I think too, like the fans, I think we do have a right to be upset about that, but you have to look at the big picture. Since they bought the team in 2000, we've had 10 playoff appearances, 14 winning seasons, 8 division titles, but is it enough for the fans without a World Series? Because that's all we want. And I think we've had so many opportunities. We've come so close. And the one that sticks out the most to me is 2024. I think at the end of the season, that was our window. We were just, I think, maybe one or two pieces away from a really, really good team that could absolutely make it to the World Series in 2025. And so I think everybody kind of shared the same sentiment. We had so many expectations. We're like, they got to do something now because we knew that that was our window. And they essentially did nothing. And I don't understand. So maybe that was kind of a byproduct of what we were talking about before of how about how, they know they're going to sell the team, so they're not investing as much money. That very well could have been part of it, but at the same time, like, I just find it so hard to believe that they would just cut everything and say, okay, we're done. We're just going to sit back and collect our paychecks and just do the bare minimum. But
Well, and that's why I really think this upcoming like 3 months is gonna say so much about where this team is going because everything I said, like if Stephen Kwan is not on our roster come opening day, like shoot the whole front office into the sun, delete this episode. I never defended them ever. But on the other hand, they could extend Stephen Kwan. They could, we've talked about Ketel Marte trade. We've talked about Brendan Donovan. There are things they could do that would make me say, okay, I understand. Like the timing really sucks. It sucks that you blew up a team that made it to the ALCS, that you traded away two fan favorites. But I understand. I understand why you did it. I think the next 3 months are make or break in terms of this front office's legacy and how they handle the best player in franchise history.
I think it's also important to separate ownership from front office because I do truly believe that Chris Antonetti and Mike Chernoff are doing the best that they can with what they have. And
that's something I definitely wanted to bring up too. And I think the question is, what do they have? Like, how much are the Dolans giving them to spend? Because I think that's your $1 million question right there. Like, they're doing the best with what they have, but how much of it do they have? Because
literally just $1
it
million.
sounds like
Yeah.
they have literally nothing. And like,
Well,
I just find that so hard to believe. Like, they have to have something. They have to have some sort of money to spend. And the fact that they're not involved in, to our knowledge, they're not involved in any sort of discussions with these free agents. They're not doing any sort of trades. It seems like nothing is happening behind the scenes. And obviously, they're very tight. This organization is very tight-lipped. They're notorious for that. But it's just very frustrating just watching all these guys get signed. And we're not even talking about signing, all-star level players. We don't need a Juan Soto or even like a Cody Bellinger. Like, we're not asking for that. All we're asking for are just solid reinforcements, mainly for our rookies. And because we haven't even seen that, it just kind of blows my mind because we're not asking for these super huge investments. We're kind of asking for just the bare minimum because if you don't have anybody to back up Chase DeLauter, George Valera, and even like Kafis and all these rookies that are probably going to be on the opening day roster, I think you're putting way too much pressure on them to automatically perform. And that's not fair on them. And if they can't handle that, they're probably just going to have to blow it up again in a season or two. And so that's why I think if we just get veteran bats that can back them up, that's all we're asking for. And so it's just been very discouraging that they haven't even been able to do that. So I don't know. That's just my biggest question this offseason is just why is it just pitcher after pitcher after pitcher that we don't need? Our bullpen was already great. I just don't know. That was my biggest gripe.
Hot take.
I think we'll see a lot of movement. Like, I just don't think we're done. Anyway, time for the hot take.
Since we are not, at least at the moment, no bats have been signed except for Armstrong, who he's a
Fairchild.
bat, right?
He's a pitcher, right?
No, he's a pitcher. What was the
Let's do
bat
Yeah,
we
I was going to
signed?
say, did we
Fairchild.
sign a second Armstrong?
Fairchild to the
No.
minor league
Stuart
deal.
Fairchild.
Is our
Minor
only-
league. I'm looking at Baseball Reference and it only has
This-
the major leaguers on
Mhm.
here.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
I was
only signed
looking,
one bat.
I was
He's in
very
it, he's a
curious
minor league.
about because I was curious about the actual money that we've spent this year. So basically for 2026, Armstrong is going to make 4 million. Connor Holderman is going to make 1.5 million and Connor Brogdon is going to make 900,000. Hedges is making his normal, I think 4 million is what he signs for every year at this point. So yeah, and then that's not even counting the 4.4 million that Tanner Bybee is making and then the 21 million that Jose Ramirez is making. Everybody else is in arbitration. But I'm curious that since they are not, at least right now, signing any bats, does that mean we are going to see CDL? We are going to see Valera. We are going to see Kafis and possibly Bazana on the opening day roster?
I do think all but Bazana will be on the opening day roster for sure. I feel like Bazana they'll probably have him spend some more time in Columbus,
With
but
his injury, I do agree that it makes more sense to keep him in Columbus.
And we
But
haven't
Right.
seen Juan Brito yet. Like, I don't hate giving
Oh.
Juan Brito a shot, but like just not skipping him altogether unless Bazana absolutely crushes it in spring training the way Stephen Kwan did. But I don't even if we don't see him on the opening day roster, I don't hate that really.
yeah, I won't be disappointed if we don't see Bazana on the opening day roster, but I absolutely expect to see CDL and Valera.
And I also don't think we're done seeing movement in the trade market. I do think a lot of this might be crazy, way irrelevant, but we've seen a lot of Japanese position players sign deals lately. And I have a feeling that some teams were waiting for those dominoes to fall before really hitting the trade market. We've seen some cryptic leaks from the Diamondbacks talking about we want to get this Ketel Marte business over with, which seemed to me like a desperate drive up your price right now or else type of tactic. I don't think the trade market's done yet. There are still some free agents who haven't signed, and whether the Guardians are involved or not, I think we did get a report that they have talked to St. Louis about Donovan. Like I think they are actively engaging in these trades. And then we're just not the only team that hasn't done it yet. I think we're still going to see a lot of moves made by other teams, hopefully also the Guardians. I don't think this offseason is near completion.
Yeah, I do think we'll have a much clearer vision of the road ahead after arbitration. I think that's kind of the last hurdle we need to get over until we can really start seeing how they're going to just assemble this team. So I
Meg-
guess we'll hopefully have a much clearer picture next week.
Do you have the arbitration eligible list in front of you, Meg?
Hold on, I can go
Still.
back to it. I was looking at historical Guardians transactions in January.
I'm looking up the richest owners.
All right, yeah,
Which
I've got.
shockingly,
You'll love that. How many of them are pitchers?
Let's see here. Where are?
Because I want to know if we have been signing all of these free agent relief pitchers so that when we get to arbitration with our other ARB eligible guys, we can say, here is $2, Stephen Kwan, you get everything.
I mean, like all of them except Tanner.
Yeah, so I can
Why am I counting? I just need to look at the. Yeah, Tanner is the only one who's on a current contract, and obviously the guys we signed in the offseason. Literally, it's Jose Ramirez, Tanner Bybee, Sean Armstrong, Emmanuel Clase, but we're skipping over him. Colin Holderman, Connor Brogdon, Austin Hedges. Those are the only people with written contracts. Everybody else is in arbitration.
Which, to be honest, I know if you don't agree to a deal, then it goes to an arbiter where you argue back
Yeah.
and forth about how much you make. Can the team just be like, yeah, never mind, we're not paying you, like goodbye? Is that where
I
we're leaning?
I
Is that
think
why we signed
so,
all
because
these
I think that's
guys?
kind of like the point of arbitration is that if they don't agree on a number, then they can probably just say, okay, well, goodbye. I mean, I could be entirely wrong, but
And
I
I
think that,
wonder if
as
we're
in the
prepared to
last
do that with some guys, and that explains some of the moves we've made.
I'm fairly certain the last person we went to the arbiter with was Bauer
Yeah.
back in 17,
What a time.
right? Yeah. I think every other player since then we have agreed to arbitration terms with. At least as far as I know from what I've heard. I feel like when somebody goes to an arbiter, that's a big deal and people like talk about it and announce it outside of the org.
Oh
So,
no, so the arbitrator must choose a figure.
and do both have to, like, does the team have to sign them for that figure
Yeah.
then?
That's why they try to avoid arbitration in the first place.
But if the team
It's
doesn't like the number, in theory, they could just DFA you, right?
right. I think
Okay.
yeah,
think
that's the
that would
question is
make
what happens
sense.
after that if they don't agree to the number.
I think they have to agree to the number, but like you don't owe anyone a roster spot, you know? Like,
Yeah.
But then also they lose that like trade piece too.
yeah.
Like you just straight you get nothing for him.
Well, and I really do wonder then if they made all these off-season moves knowing how many pitchers they had going into arbitration, and maybe they're not comfortable paying some of our current relief pitchers the money they'll be owed. And so now those roster spots are going to go to these guys that we signed in the off-season. I don't,
So like the
that
thing
might not
is
be it,
though,
but
I'm looking down here. This is on baseballreference.com. There are limits for the amount of money you can pay an arbitration player. And a lot of our guys are in pre-arb right now, which if I'm reading this correctly, the pre-arb max I think is $758,000.
oh, that's like no money.
Yeah.
It would be life-changing for me, but like, for a
Yeah.
baseball player, that's no money.
Now,
That's minimum wage.
one is in
Yeah.
arbitration 2 right now, which again, if I'm reading this correctly, the max for a second year arbitration player is $3.59 million.
That's still not that much money. That's
It's
That's
like
not.
so little.
that's
Oh
still
wait,
very
that's
little compared to
I
what he
said,
deserves.
but they're estimating him at like 8.8
I was
million.
saying, yeah,
Estimated
isn't he like
arbitration.
eight?
See the link to the arbitration. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm reading this wrong.
Cody
I could be
Bellinger.
very dumb. That's a
Is Cody Bellinger the one who set the
possibility.
record for
Yes, he had
arbit?
11.5 million in 2020 for the highest 1 year salary for a
Maybe that's
player
the
in their
minimum
first.
arb.
Okay. Which again, we can pay. Quan deserves that 11 million. Like whatever Cody Bellinger was making, we can give Quan. I don't care. We should.
No, same. I don't
Yeah.
care about anything else.
Break that record,
My
actually.
entire fandom will crush beneath me if Quan is
Mhm.
traded, so I don't care.
You
Let's see
must have
here.
had a
There
rough
is
July.
I cried a lot, actually. I was driving to the National Card Show and I just sobbed the whole way there. I had a
Oh my
migraine for like
God.
2 days. I was just sobbing. I didn't know what to do. People were like texting me all these like rumor notifications. I was like, I can't do this. I just sobbed. I was unwell. And it's also like the Nationals, like the greatest card show every year, where I was like, oh God, I'm either gonna go to the card show and every single Quan card is gonna be super cheap because he just got traded. Unless he gets traded to the Dodgers, in which case we'd have to institutionalize me, or he's gonna be on. I was not well. I cried so much, guys. Please don't do that to me.
We made it through. Hey, you made it through the
Please
hardest
don't do that
thing.
to me again. I just
Yeah, let's not give her any more war flashbacks over here.
So I am seeing this is an older article from MLBTradeRumors.com. It was written in I think October, but they are estimating a couple of our guys, the currently arbitration eligible guys, not the pre-arb guys. So this included again Stephen Kwan. They're estimating 8.8 million for him. Nolan Jones, who is ARB 1, they're estimating 2 million for him. David Fry is ARB 1. They're estimating 1.2 million for him. And Matt Festa, they're also ARB 1 estimating 1 million for him.
I don't hate those numbers for anyone.
No,
I'd pay all those people that money.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so like that's I don't know. Again, arbitration is very weird and confusing for me. So I don't know. This is that thing that I was reading at the was like at the bottom of the team future payroll chart here on baseballreference.com. It's like a note and it just says those figures for some of the general arbitrations, I guess. I don't know. Weird. But anyways, that's all doable money, I feel like.
Oh,
So
I want to go
hopefully we
back
have
to
a
the.
quiet week of arbitration. Anyway, go back, go back.
Oh, I just want to say go back to the richest owners. Do you guys
Oh,
know the
yes, yes.
Dolans are not actually poor owners? They just don't spend money. They are
That
the
doesn't
ninth.
That's
surprise
not
me.
surprising at all.
They are the ninth wealthiest owners ahead of the Phillies.
I didn't even know they were top 10. Damn.
Top 10. Their Paul Dolan's net worth is expected to be 4.6 billion. This is according to Forbes. 4.6 billion. Whereas wasn't another team that spends like us is what, like the Pirates?
Not this off season.
No, they're doing okay. So like, it's like well, not the White Sox either, really, because so usually like the White Sox and Pirates are like the low spenders.
Miami.
Oh yeah, I mean, Miami is their owner's worth $500 million. Ours is 4.6 billion.
Yeah, so
See,
they're
that's
just
just
not trying. They're just
Yeah, so like it's I know we talked about this in the group chat. Like I do think at a certain point, if you're going to own a baseball team, if you're going to own a sports team, you have a mild obligation to spend some money. I also am a proponent of the salary floor, so
Oh, absolutely.
okay. I don't know how I feel about a cap, like whatever. I
I
have some
think at
thoughts.
minimum, whenever this, well, not whenever, we know it's going to happen next off season. The redo of the
CBA.
there we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
That thing that could throw us into a potential lockout.
Which I think
I
is
think
inevitable.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's going to be the sticking point is that I think a floor is going to need to be instituted.
Yeah, there's no way we'll see a salary cap because the players would never ever allow that. So I think the likelihood of that is like less than 1%. But
Yeah.
a salary floor should absolutely be implemented.
Well, so the Dodgers, so right, if you pay over a certain amount, then you have to pay luxury taxes. So the Dodgers paid $169.4 million in luxury taxes, which is more than 16 teams' payrolls entirely. Which it's just
That's insane.
the fact that we're competitive with what we spend. And I think this just goes like as a shout out to our front office. The fact that we're competitive with what we spend is incredible. I am floored by it every single time. Imagine if we just threw another 169 million into our payroll. Stephen Kwan, you can make Juan Soto money. But instead,
So Paul Dolan should also have a Chris Antonetti statue in his front yard, is what
yeah,
I'm
I think so.
Yeah.
Truly. I mean, with
don't-
what Antonetti has been able to do with this team is nothing short of a miracle, honestly.
I don't know why he's still here. Like, remember when the Red Sox tried to hire him and he was like, nah, I love Cleveland.
He's been
Shout
here for
out.
like since I looked this up and he's been here since the 90s.
He just really likes the winking lizard for
Because
like
I mean, same.
He's worked for the Cleveland Guardians franchise since 1999. He worked in the front office of the Expos in 1998. So yeah,
Hey.
he's
Rip.
been here for a very long
Expos.
time.
he'll never leave. Knock on wood.
I mean, I think he's fantastic. I
think
I
he's
just
great.
I just want like the owners to have to pay some money. I just think if you're
Yeah.
worth $4.6 billion, you can afford to
And you choose to own a sports team.
right. Like no one's making you do
The
this.
whole
This
yeah,
is your
exactly.
choice.
Yeah.
No one forced you to take this
You were
team.
like, oh,
Even
this
when
is
your
funsies.
dad was like, hey, you know what? I have this sports team that I don't really want to own anymore. You could have said, Dad, I'm not interested in owning a sports team. Sell it.
Which, to be fair, he was trying. Like, we did spend money until he decided to sell it. Like,
a little bit.
they built around Lindor.
You gotta finish it. You gotta finish what you started. I'm so sorry. Big
Yeah,
dog.
no,
You gotta
that's-
lock in.
Yeah. Yeah. At the
People
end of the day,
spend money to make money.
yeah, I do believe that the whole issue is that they've decided to sell and they are trying to maximize their profits as much as possible.
It is just
Um,
annoying how well that worked out. Like, you couldn't have predicted when you drafted up that deal, that this team would still be this competitive. And with the amount of investments you've made, that this team, like, they're really doing the bare minimum, and it's gonna be worth so much money when they sell it. Like, they're just making so much money. That's annoying. Like, if you're gonna
Incredibly.
put no money, you should at least be having an embarrassingly bad team, which I don't want, because I enjoy rooting for a team that is good. But it annoys me that he was like, I'm just gonna put as little money into this as possible. Oh, look, my team still looks good. What a great
I
reflection
know it's the worst. He got rewarded for doing nothing.
for doing the least.
And he
There's
didn't
a
even
reason
hire
why they're
Antonetti.
billionaires.
He didn't even
You're right, he
hire his front
inherited him.
office. He just, he inherited his front office. Like, it's not even like, oh, he did shit. He did nothing.
Hey, they are putting in blue seats. And I only bring that up because the other day the Guardians made a Happy New Year's post where the logo underneath was all navy blue and white. And I just wonder if we're leaning into this navy blue and white City Connect like branding this year. I wonder if we'll see any changes.
I don't have
took
time
all
to
that
go
from a
into
New
another
Year's post,
20-minute
but
rant about how much I want that.
I've
but
already
they said Happy
said-
New Year's and it was all blue. I think that's happening.
I don't think I'm not sure if I've mentioned it on the pod yet, but on Twitter and in our various discords, I have mentioned that I do believe the ultimate goal for when it's our time to get a new City Connect, that they're going to take the current City Connects and make them our mains.
And they
I do
should,
think they're
because it
gonna
matches our
completely-
new stadium seats.
It's
They
beautiful.
And they
have
look
to,
good.
man.
The
Everything
And you
is
just
so
signed Tanner Bybee
perfect.
to an extension, and he loves them.
The blue seats
think.
are beautiful, I will say.
Yeah.
When I was in the stadium and like I saw like the couple green seats that were still left, I was like, oh.
Yeah. And
What's
we were never going to be good with half and half seats. Like, now that
That's true.
I think the
That's
seats
true.
should be done this year. We're
The
allowed to
aesthetic
really
was so
win a World
off. The
Series.
vibes were off.
Yeah.
the stadium lights have been on a bunch, so I feel like that's probably what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
They better
I've
be.
seen some photos of people inside and outside the stadium checking out the
Oh yeah, I drive by it every day. I'm just waiting. And just
Let
it's
me
just me out
in.
screaming.
doing the Eric Andre.
Yeah, basically. Okay, I have to also give props because the stadium is gorgeous. I love the renovations. I would like to give them a shout out for that. I mean, I really like Progressive Field a lot. I'm a big fan.
It
My
is
goal
a
is to
lovely
go to
stadium.
all of the stadiums before I die. I'm at like 6 or something like that.
It's a good goal.
Thank you. I'm getting there. We're gonna knock off, oh God, Camden Yards maybe this year. I can't remember. I have it written down somewhere. But yeah, no, so like, and Progressive Field still is like, it's just nice. Feels like home.
It does.
I like the blue seats. I like the renovations. I like the cool art they've put in. Big fan. Now extend Stephen Kwan and I'll be fine.
Yes. All
Remember, Mikayla's not above arson. So
I'm not.
let
I'm
that be
not.
a warning.
Please don't arrest me, but like I will be slightly mentally unwell. So
Who knows what will happen?
yeah.
FBI, this is all theoretical. This is pretend.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
Cleveland Police Department, we are not condoning anything.
Arson?
Nothing.
Hey guys, I have a fun question. Maybe it's not a fun question. Maybe everyone will hate this.
Maybe I'm lying.
In theory, you trade away Andres Jimenez so that you have money to extend Stephen Kwan. You do that, right? That's not a no-brainer, or is that an
Yes.
either or? Would you undo the other? Yeah.
No brainer.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, I do think that
Yes.
that's the
You
play
can't
to
be-
make.
I'm hoping that's the situation we're in.
I agree. Well, I think that is going to be it for tonight. I feel like this was a pretty long but very fruitful discussion.
I'm optimistic. I think we're gonna have fun this season.
Allie, honestly, you have changed my outlook on this season with the research and the notes that you took.
Thank you.
It was
I
a
wanna
very
be Allie
fresh
when I grow up.
perspective, and I do, yes, I do share some of that optimism now too that I was lacking before tonight.
Well, and the players got to show up and play, right? Like, I
Yep.
think the front office believes in them, but now it's got to work. So we hope it works.
I mean, from the way that they looked last year, I'll say the way they looked at the end of the year, because the middle of the year was not pretty. But it seems like a very tight clubhouse, that they all appreciate each other, that they all want to push each other as hard as they can. So trying to keep as many of these guys in the clubhouse as possible.
That's why
Um,
Pedro Avila's back. Shout out.
exactly. Our vibes guy, one of our vibes guys. And on a split contract to make it a little bit easier to keep him. I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited for baseball regardless, but
Oh, I'm so excited.
we're almost there.
It's officially baseball season.
I will be
Exactly.
at spring training at the end of February, and I'm so
I'm
excited.
so
That'll be my first
jealous.
ever time.
We will be getting live exclusive updates from Sarah.
Oh, yes.
Can you
I
tell-
will be
At-
posting photos and videos and just
Yes,
about
ma'am.
anything, so I can't wait.
I'm excited. So make sure to follow all of our socials for that. And now that we have a YouTube, maybe you can post a couple videos on YouTube of you.
Ooh, some
Checking
YouTube
things out.
shorts.
Ooh,
Yeah, you
Yes.
take the.
Can you
I'll
go
give you the Caught
live?
Lookin
Live
sign.
stream?
Oh, yes. You'll
Is that
take the
allowed?
live streaming from the game.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
half, not even half. I would say 3/4 of our spring training games aren't even televised. So
She's doing the people a favor.
Truly.
I wish Twitter
Truly.
still had those live streams. What was it? I can't remember what it was called,
Spaces.
but no, it was like Periscope or something. It
Oh
was
my
like a long
God.
time ago.
Oh my
but you could like
God.
live stream video on Twitter.
You can go
If they
live on
still had
Insta.
that,
Go
if they
live
still
on
had
Insta.
that, I absolutely would sit there and record the games for everybody. But
Just
The
stream it
MLB is gonna
directly to
come
Twitter.
after your ass.
You need
Probably,
the express written consent
Yeah, and you do
of
not
Major
have
League
it.
Baseball. You do not have. You will never have it.
I'd give it to you if I owned baseball. I would give you your express written consent, and I would
thank you,
access to your
Mikayla.
watch.
That's so kind of you.
I'm the owner for the people. That's what I'm here for.
Mikayla is my new favorite billionaire.
I'm
I
floored.
wish, man.
Dude,
I wish.
oh, I would spend like Steve Cohen, man. I'd be out there giving so much dumb money to players. I would be like, here, hit a baseball. I don't care. Here's a couple. Here's
You
a
get
couple
100 million.
would-
You get 100 million.
You would
Yeah.
do a avalanche.
Yeah, I would
But
just do
just
Avalanche
money.
for like terrible people too. Just like
Rude.
here, as long if you hit the ball good, great. Here you go.
Have it.
Yeah, I would. This is also why I don't. One, I'm not a millionaire, and also
This is the
will-
specific reason why.
this
I'm not.
specifically is that the fact that I'm so bad with money is probably number one reason because I would just throw it at them. But if I was a billionaire,
That's what you would do.
I would be Stephen Cohen.
All right. I think that is going to do it for season 2, episode 1 of Caught Lookin. Thanks so much for welcoming us back and kicking off the new year with us. We're excited for what's ahead and grateful as always for everyone who listens and shares and keeps this community going. Make sure you're following the pod and all of our socials. And now we're on YouTube. Thank you, Sarah. So don't miss what's coming next. And we'll be back soon with another episode. Also, don't forget to check our link in bio for our Discord. We are still on there chatting away. So until then, whether you're here for the hot takes, the heartbreaks, or the home runs, don't get caught looking.
Go Guards.
Go Guards.
Go,
Go
guys.
Guards.